The 30-Minute Podcast is back with Season 4. I'm Mariposa. Thanks for listening. Appreciate all the 30s for your engagement and support over the past 3 seasons. Now we focus on the art of living, and our first guest, Cedric Brown, luxury designer. Calling all fashionistas, aspiring designers, creatives, college students, high school students, and anyone that loves couture. We think you'll like this episode. Let's jump into his story. Welcome to another edition of the 30-Minute Podcast. Full topics in half an hour for the intellectually curious. I'm Mariposa.
And as always, the IZZ.
So how's it going today, IZZ?
You know, I love when we have entrepreneurs on.
Yes.
I love when we have that young pulse coming in from the millennials and those that are in the creative space, you know. So today, and I'm saying you know a lot because you should know. And if you don't know, you better ask somebody.
You're talking to the 30s right now?
I'm talking to the 30s right now. You know, Biggie said, and if you don't know, now you know. But Remember here in Atlanta, we just say, you ain't know, you better ask somebody. And so you better ask somebody about Cedric Brown collection. We have Cedric Brown in the building with us today.
Woo!
Thank you for joining us, Cedric.
I'm so happy to be here, and thanks for bringing me on.
Yeah, awesome. How's it going today?
It's going pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing well. I have my beautiful scarf, pink and green. Loving it. Thank you, sir.
It looks so well on you, too.
Thank you.
So I want to go ahead and just jump on in because, you know, this is the 30-Minute Podcast, and I want to use all 30 minutes to focus on you and your mindset and things and what you're doing. So I know that you've had a gambit of influencers that have been in your pieces, from Monica Kaufman to Wale to Beverly Johnson to Marvin Ellison. If people don't know who Marvin Ellison is, he's the head of Lowe's, and Young Thug. So how do you speak to so many various tastes without changing what Cedric Brown Collection represents?
I think with anything you do, you got to build a foundation. You have to know your goals, your morals, and what you want your brand to represent. And when I started my brand, I had this vision and, goals that I wanted everybody to wear my stuff. Just like how you have Ralph Lauren and you have Gucci, those brands, no matter what ethnic background somebody is, they still, or their age limit, it could be somebody from 9 years old to 80 years old wearing that brand. And no matter what somebody's demographic is or their ethnic background, they still think it's a hot piece and they feel confident wearing it. So I always knew I wanted those type of goals to represent my brand as well.
So tell us more about your brand, just how you started this and how you gotten to where you are, being so successful at such a young age.
Absolutely. So I'm Cedric Brown. I'm the head designer, CEO of Cedric Brown Collections. We specialize in men's and women accessories and apparel. I make silk scarves, ties, bow ties, socks, kimonos, button-down shirts, slip dresses, socks, and face masks, so you can stay safe in style. What makes my branding unique is that I create the artwork on all the prints on my fabrics. So my slogan is, you can hang these on the wall or you can wear it to the mall.
And I like that.
That's hot right there.
So I've been in business for 5 years now, and I started off with the scarves and I later expanded to other things. I'm kind of a guy that I did a lot of pop-up shops around the city. I did a lot of art festivals, conferences, sorority events, just to get my brand out there. And I'm a graduate of Savannah College of Art and Design.
One time for scared.
Yeah.
Scared.
And I received the BFA in fashion design.
A Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Design.
Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about you as an artist. When did you start? Did you go to a performing arts school?
Absolutely. So since I was a toddler, I grew up scribbling fashionable women on paper. I grew up also wanting to style my mom or tell her she should wear this or something when she's finna go out. People who knew me personally always knew I was kind of inclined in the arts. I can draw. They would always say, oh, he can draw this, he can draw that. I grew up in DeKalb County mainly, and I went to DeKalb County schools, and I did not attend any performing arts schools. So I kind of got back involved in art, like far as like painting and, well, actually drawing when I was in the 10th grade. Just so happened I was removed out of band classes and they just put me in a visual arts class, which was the best thing ever. And so I got back in visual arts, and I ended up finding this Boys and Girls Club program called the Youth Art Connection. And they had after school programs where you can go to on every Thursday evening, every weekend. And I started just watching Georgia Public Broadcasting on TV, and I showed my mom, and I was like, let's call down there. Because I wanted something to do in my community, and the Cat kind of really didn't have like a lot of art programs, but this was something the Boys and Girls Club had. And I went down there, and it was just great. It's something I did every Thursday, and they kind of developed my art skills as well. I started finding out about art competitions, started winning them, and it just boosted my confidence that like, this is where I'm going.
Yeah, that's heartwarming to hear, because the Boys and Girls Club have for years, that was their whole goal, to just create that spark in the youth, give them things to do after school, and then maybe give you something that you could take on a career path. So I would say you are a success story of the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, thank you.
So I would also say, you're right, it's not only heartwarming, but it's also like a heart start. So it needs that we need more programs like that. For years I've been saying, let's move towards sciences and technology and everything, but you can also incorporate the arts. The arts are those things. Everybody that I know that's ever been considered a philosopher or very intelligent has always had some connection to the arts as well. So I'm glad you did. So, but we need some more programs. I want to go ahead and say that.
Yeah, I feel like the arts makes you well-rounded if you know something about the arts.
Multiple intelligence.
There you go. That's what it's about in 2021 and beyond. So I also found out something about you, that you got your degree debt-free. And that's a miracle within itself, right? Because
from SCAD?
From SCAD. So
is she telling the truth? Because I know they on the collection is Cedric, but I'm just calling you C Brown anyway. But is that true, C Brown?
Yeah, she's telling the truth. People always brought up, you don't want to get in a lot of debt to go to school.
Right.
And I just knew from personal experiences, like in family, like, you don't want to see somebody debt being burdened, and you can just lose a lot of stuff. And I also knew that having student loan debt, that's not something that you can file bankruptcy and get off your credit or anything. I kind of knew that already in high school. So I had that mindset that, like, I don't want to get in debt. So I will relate this back to the Boys and Girls Club. Like, I won a Boys and Girls Club scholarship. It was the International Paint Pal Scholarship. And I won the Boys and Girls Club scholarship. In order for you to get your money, you had to attend this off the college workshop. And so at the off the college workshop, it's like somewhat was related to the College Bound, but they had somebody there from Georgia Perimeter College that was coming trying to recruit kids for there.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, my mindset is I just graduated. I'm going to SCAD. I kind of had all my eggs in one basket that I was going there. And the advisor was like, all this money that you got, the scholarships, you can bring it to Georgia Perimeter and it can somehow be saved for you to go to SCAD. If you come to us, you can take all your basic classes, and I also had a mentor stepping in telling me that too. You can take all your basic classes there, your prerequisite first, and then later transfer, because, Hope at the time was paying for full tuition then. I qualified for the Pell Grant. I wouldn't have to worry about that. So I decided to go that route, which was the best thing ever. Like, it was very nurturing. I got there. It was also like a whole nother community vibe, community feel. And I had a game plan then. I kind of knew a little bit more about scholarships. So I knew I needed to do some community service work while I was in community college. Yes. I knew my GPA needed to be up there. I knew I needed to enhance my art portfolio. And I knew that I needed to get some leadership roles. Because I applied for a lot of scholarships in high school and didn't win them. And I was seeing the people who did win them. So that gave me a new game plan. Like, if I want to win this now, got another chance. And within those 2 years, I started winning stuff. I won some big awards, like with the Congressional Black Caucus. They gave me an art scholarship. I won a few of them with United Negro College Fund. SCAD had their own personal scholarships as well, where you can just go and you have to ask a lot of questions to these advisors when you go in there. And I kind of like had the mindset. And by going to Georgia Perimeter College, I learned about financial aid. Like, when you do FAFSA, you need to do that immediately because they have certain grants that you can get, but it's first come, first serve. It's not just like regular grants, like stuff. Probably only 10 people in the school gonna get it. But if you don't apply for it first, you're gonna miss out. So,
well, he just said a lot.
He said a whole, you know what? I want people that have children. You know how we did the episode with the career coach?
Yeah.
Those people need to listen to that because he just gave them a nugget in 5 minutes.
Yeah, the blueprint.
So the blueprint.
He talked about doing his own research. He talked about
research,
mentors,
vision, game plan.
That's it.
I mean, somebody needs to put that on a shirt. Research,
and send it to the 30-minute podcast host.
Game plan. One of my girls just she's been out a year from SCAD, but she did it by her hand. She had to work. And she did hair while she was doing it. But she, once again, the same way, minimal debt, maybe about $2,000.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I like the way you did it even better. You know, where you probably had something in your pocket to go, but we're not going to get into your pockets. We don't do that here at the 30-minute
That's a different show.
That's a different show. That's the Money Matters of one of them shows. Right there. But I do want to say this. What are you at? You're an 80s kid? 90s kid? 90s kid? Okay, so thank you for that, because this is where I'm going with that. I saw where the iconic, beautiful, vivacious, if she a cougar or a tiger or whatever they call it, she can get my number.
Can we retire?
I'm just trying. Hey, Beverly Johnson is fine. I'm gonna put it out there. If you don't know who Beverly Johnson is, you're under a rock. Come from up under it. But I know Beverly Johnson was working with Halston. And Halston, you're a 90s kid, but Halston passed away early in the 90s. But you said he was an influence. Tell me about that, how that influence, and about how you got into that. Because he was 70s, 80s. And so we going from the 70s and 80s all the way to 2020 and bringing him back up. And she was wearing his stuff in the 70s, wearing your stuff in the 20s. Tell me about that.
So you've been doing your research.
Man, you don't, hey, I just act like a fool. I'm really quite cultured around here. We won't talk about me.
Well, I'll say this.
We will off the air. Yes, we will. Go ahead.
Bringing up Cougar, in the movie, how to Be a Player, she played the Cougar to Bernie. Was it? Oh, no. She played the Cougar to Bill Bellamy. But she was married to, was it Bernie Mac on that?
On somebody like that. And then they took that role, and then she played in Martin, and she was Miss, what was she was
the teacher.
The teacher.
I don't remember the name.
Can't remember the name of the teacher, but yeah, you're right. You doing your research. What you doing watching How to Be a Player? I hear you. That's the ATL.
I'm a 90s kid.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So, I went to SCAD, and studying fashion design, they made sure that, we have to study like the history of fashion. As soon as I got into my introductory fashion classes, they had us research certain designers, which even though these are white designers, but these are the ones who they considered like iconic. Yves Saint Laurent, Halston, Madeline Villeneuve, Cristobal, Balenciaga. Like we had to research these brands. So when it got time to senior collection, I had like some hand-painted designs that I was doing in my research. And my teacher, he was like, we came back with these process books. He was beating everybody up, like, and he got to my book, like, this is trash, I don't like that. But he seen this paint that I had on this organza fabric and was like, this right here, this is your meat and potatoes. This is what you need to do. And then so he was like, you need to go study Halston. Go study Halston. Go in the library, pick up one of his books. And like in his books, he's seen also that I was sketching a bunch of jumpsuits. For some reason, I love, seeing women in jumpsuits. So I was doing a lot of sketches of jumpsuits. He was like, I don't really like jumpsuits, but if you're going to do it, you need to have a caftan to go on top of it, which I kind of call it a kimono. So I seen that Halston had these caftans and kimonos and jumpsuits. It's very disco-y. And he had this collaboration when he did with Jackson Pollock. It was like abstract art that was splattered all over like the kimonos and stuff. So that kind of gave me an idea, and doing that research and then seeing like, okay, she was his actual model. And then we also watched, when I first got to SCAD, his documentary Ultra Suede had just came out. So it made you look like, like, don't I want to be him? Like how the way he was, because he was like, he had this big entourage full of women following him, like 10 of them. And then like,
he was people in the art world, all loving his stuff. And
then he was in Studio 54. He was just like, and they was making like, he was making all this big, gigantic money. So it was like, before Ralph Lauren, it was Halston, you know what I'm saying? So just to see how much of an impact it was, and then I love the designs and stuff.
Yeah, that's a cool story, because as you were telling that, what I was thinking, you mentioned your professor was like, well, I don't like this, I don't like that. And a lot of times with Generation Z, right, it seems like the older folks are against
everything that you're trying to do. And we've talked to a lot of people and interviewed a lot of people, and they basically convey that sentiment. Like, it comes across like, we think you all don't know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like even though he was admonishing you in one way, he was still giving you some inspiration. And so I was just curious about different people that you may have come across over the years that you felt like are mentors today, that they saw something in you. Did that start in, say, high school, or how did it mostly come to fruition at SCAD?
I would say my mentorship started in high school, where I've started really considering people my mentor. And they were like natural relationships. One in particular, I have the Olympic artist. He lives here in Atlanta, Steve Allen. When I went to Youth Art Connection, I was selected one of 7 Boys and Girls Club members to go to Beijing, China, to have my artwork displayed over there. By him being an Olympic artist and the Olympic Games was in Beijing, he came to just give us some tips on creating artwork for this exhibition. And so like a few months later, I just decided to call him on the card he gave and just was asking advice about being an artist. And then I also met somebody who was on the board of the Boys and Girls Club. When I went to China, he's an older white guy, but our birthdays are a day apart and we're both only childs. And when he was in China, most of the other kids, what I observed, was not talking to them. I guess they didn't feel comfortable around them because they were like older white people and we were like young black kids. But I just so happened to start the conversation. We were both eating breakfast and I told him I heard we had stuff in common. And then like our last day, he was like, I want to give you something for the summer. He's like, he gave me some money. He was like, use this to go. I told him I want to do Camp Broadway at the Fox Theater. And he was like, here goes some money for you to go do that. And then from there, I was like, well, I just said thank you and continued that relationship. I would just write emails. Our bond became like, you ever seen the movie Finding Forrester?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like he was this guy that loved literature and he was telling him the right stuff. I feel like our relationship.
So which one of y'all was Sean Connery?
He's Sean Connery.
I'm just messing with you.
So he, actually, still to this day, the way we communicate is through email. We don't even talk on the phone. It's always just emails and stuff. He'll send me poetry. Well, when mentorship first started, he sent me poetry and stuff that I could, like Invictus and like very literature stuff I would never, stuff that I would never read on my own, but stuff like that. And it was helpful, you know. So.
Well,
I'm sorry, Invictus is
very familiar.
We're both very familiar.
Very familiar.
Oh, wow. Okay. Did y'all go to college together or something?
We did.
Oh.
So, what I heard there, though, in the mentor, and I appreciate you explaining that, is that you also network. You network to find a mentor. Then it became a natural fit, and you guys are in connection today. And so I want people to hear that. Like, you didn't wait for somebody to drop an opportunity in your lap. You took the initiative, too. Yeah. And it was a blessing to go on that trip to Beijing. What did you think of Beijing?
I was like 15 years old, so I think if I was to go there as an adult, we had chaperones. We couldn't do certain stuff, but overall, it was a nice city. Certain parts of it, I got to see what it almost looked like a third world country, and then certain parts of it looks very rich.
Right.
So it was just very different, majority of everything. You did see English signs, but majority of the people there, spoke Chinese, or if they were older, they didn't know how to speak regular English. But years later, down the road, when I went to SCAD has a campus on Hong Kong, and where I ended up living in Asia again for 3 months. And like living in Hong Kong is very different than Asia, but I really loved Hong Kong a lot.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Hong Kong. Haven't made that trip yet myself, but we have a lot of international listeners. We say that all the time, but it's true. Yes. And so, there could be someone in Hong Kong listening to this.
Going back to my research. So when I watch TV and watch movies, I always, because I am in real estate and I'm very interested on the commercial side of real estate, even with residents. So I didn't watch season 3, but season 1 and 2, I was really into Greenleaf. My life just got real busy. And so I know that is actually a boutique hotel because I'm also into travel and I'm into specific museum type hotels, those diamond hotels. So I know, I'm not going to put his name out there. I know the mansion in Greenleaf. I know what it is. I know who kind of runs it, owns it, or whatever like that. But doing some research, I found out that person.
Absolutely.
You know I'm not talking about people on Greenleaf for the cast, which we'll get into that too. But you've been in that house before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So
can you tell us that story?
Yeah.
Am I
actually, I don't think you have a problem with saying his name, Mr. Bill Allen.
Allen Entrepreneurship Institute.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't think I know?
Yeah, so
I'm a money man. I'm trying to get like you.
Hey, so, make that money.
What did you say?
Make that money.
I want to say it, but I can't say it because you got to pay a check every time you say where that. So I can't say that.
Okay,
you can't say that because you have to pay him to say that now.
Yeah. Continue.
So actually, at my time in community college, my first year in college, I guess it was my second semester. It was this organization called Leadership Academy, which was something else that I got involved with. And my first week there, they were like, it's an opportunity. Like, you got to apply for it where we're going. It's the Allen Entrepreneur Institute, like where they was telling us it's going to be about entrepreneurship and sign up for it. I ain't know. I just signed up for it. Like, they just said we were going to be going on a field trip or we are going to be staying somewhere. I got accepted into the program. And when I got there, I felt like I was like
in hog heaven.
Yes, for 3 days. It almost, the thing is, the people that I met there, even the students, us being there, I feel like I made friendships with them for life because we all felt like we were in heaven for 3 days, and our energy felt like that we can become anything we want to become in life, that we can one day be rich like this too. Like,
nice.
I mean, it was like swimming pools inside there. We were basically living in a mansion for 3 days, and we were being coached about being entrepreneurs.
Oh, he ain't rich. That man is wealthy. There's a difference. And when I'm saying that, that means that he uses wisdom and to have healthy money. Wealthy. He's wealthy. He ain't rich. I could get rich, but he wealthy. He a different kind. He on another. I'm sorry. Go on with your story.
Absolutely. And he left us with, when the program was over with, believe, conceive, and achieve. Mm-hmm. And, we also had to do elevator pitches when we were there. That was our main focus when I was there. We had to all do a presentation and give these elevator pitches. And I went up there and I was nervous. I don't know what. But my elevator pitch was like, I'm Cedric Brown. I go to the Great Georgia Perimeter College. I'm majoring in fine arts. I want to be a fashion designer one day and da-da-da-da. 10 years ago on those same steps, Greenleaf, is being filmed there. And the leading character, Lady Mae, played by Lynn Whitfield, is wearing my kimonos in the same exact house where we were at. So I just feel like that was definitely speaking things into existence.
Yes.
And that was just like, that's powerful to me,
It's very powerful. It's very powerful.
Don't run over that again. If in case y'all missed that, the 30s, the man said that his kimonos, his artwork is on Greenleaf. So if you go back, look at the episodes when Lady Mae, I know it was an episode when she was talking to the pastor in the bedroom, and she had on a little green. It wasn't a little green, blue. Okay, the little blue kimono, right? Mm-hmm. That's your kimono. That's a Cedric Brown collection kimono.
So how did that feel to see that on the air?
That felt amazing. When I said back in the day when I wanted to be a fashion designer, I really loved Giorgio Armani.
Oh, yeah.
And when I used to read his bio.
I'm loving his taste.
Man, your taste. Ooh, you got.
See, look, so Generation Z does have taste, people. For all the people that don't think they have taste.
I told you a millennial.
But I thought the 90s was Generation Z.
No, 1995. Not 1995.
Okay, all right. Well, cool.
But, okay, I was a big fan of Giorgio Armani. And reading his bios, he's always said he got his start from Hollywood stars and his stuff being seen on the movie American Gigolo. So I was like, okay, this is it for me. Like, this is my start. I got my stuff on the leading actress on the hit show Greenleaf. So for me, it just made me feel optimistic that the sky's the limit. It was definitely a foot in the door, a great, amazing opportunity for me. And it's just amazing just to see your stuff on TV. And then her confidence, the way she storming in the room, walking around. Like, she knows she does stuff, you know.
Yeah, she's the real deal.
She's the
on the screen and off the screen.
She's the in your that made you feel like, didn't it? It made you puff your chest up, didn't it?
Yeah, it made me feel, it was amazing. Like, and then when I got to meet her and, just to think, like, that's just powerful. How did this opportunity, she's actually Auntie Lynn to me now. How did this opportunity even come about? Like, for that to even happen, it's just God.
Yeah. That's a blessing.
You call her Auntie Lynn, she's still kind of mean to me because I remember from A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. You know,
do you know how long ago that movie was?
See, the thing is, like, I'll be hearing her interviews where she was like, you know, they say she played her role, but she said, you know, it kind of like people, they don't want to go on a date with her, they be afraid. But you know, but the thing is, I started researching her. Like, what about her role when she played Josephine Baker?
Oh yeah,
see,
so her attitude was a whole different attitude then, or her stuff when I seen her playing in the 80s. So I guess people just remember that iconic movie. They don't even think about her other roles when she didn't even play that kind of.
Her catalog
character.
is deep.
Yeah,
so. she has a lot of range. She's a great actress.
Man, we could go on. I actually want to have you on again because I think we just hit the tip of the iceberg. But I want you to go ahead. We always give our guests about 2 minutes to wrap up. Tell us something about, make sure they know you, how to reach you on social media, any websites, any events you got coming on. I'm going to give it to you, C. Brown.
Absolutely. So on my website is Cedric Brown Collections. You spelled it CEDRIC Brown Collections with an S. I'm very simple, so you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Cedric Brown Collections as well. You know, be on the lookout for my new items. I have a lot of things on there for sale, and I plan on launching new products this year as well. So I'm honored to be on this show and just to talk about my experience. It was a good conversation.
Yeah, great. And we're so glad that you joined us. And I just want to say before we close that I met him at a pop-up shop. So, you know, hopefully once the COVID clears, we can have more of those because it's always fun to go see the new designs just live in the store and see you interact with different people. And that's what actually drew me over to your display because the way you were interacting with the people. So
C. Brown, thank you for being a jewel in the art world, in the fashion world,
yes.
For millennials, for Zs, just for someone, entrepreneurship. You over a gambit of different worlds and fields. And we just want to thank you for joining the 30-minute podcast. So to our 30s, we want to say it is the IZZ.
And I'm Mariposa. Until next time.
Thanks so much for joining us. It's our pleasure to have you listen to each and every episode. Be sure to rate us. 5 stars means you love what you heard. And follow us on YouTube and IG. Drop a comment. Let us know what you want to hear more about. Until next time.